In this video, I'm going to show you how to insert data into the database. We're going to do that by using PDO methods. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is write the SQL. Remember, we're going to insert data into this table. The table is users from the database tutorial. So I'm going to write the SQL, which is insert into the name of the table, users, insert into users, and I need to define the columns that I'm going to insert. I'm going to insert name and age. I'm going to insert a new record with within the columns name and age specified here. So I'm going to put that into a parenthesis, name, age, and I need to specify the values that I'm going to insert. So since I'm using PDO, PHP data objects, I'm going to use parameter markers. Okay, so I have to put it into a parenthesis. So I'm going to say name, which is a parameter for name over here, and age, which is a parameter for age over here. So that's what I'm going to insert, and this is actually my SQL statement. Insert into users, name, age, which are the columns that I'm going to be inserting here, and the values that I'm going to insert are name and age. These are parameter markers that I'm going to define in an array. Okay, so the array is going to contain these values over here. I don't put them directly here for security reasons, and later on another video I'm going to explain to you why. So that array is going to be name an associative array over here. That's step number 2, create associative array for parameter markers, which are these ones. So I'm creating an array for these parameters over here. So the first one is name, and the value for the key name, I'm going to say the new user is Diana. Okay, so that is the first element of that array. And the second one, I need to match my parameter markers over here. So if I typed age, so this same key has to be age. So the age, let's say the age of Diana is 32 years old. So all of this information from this array is going to be inserted here in the columns name for name and age for age. If you want, you can change the values here, but they will need to match. Here in the parameter spaces, the two parameters need to match here, and they need to include colon, which are markers or placeholders, and they need to match the information here. So I already have the SQL and the array for the SQL, and I already have the query over here. Okay, so the next thing I have to do is define a statement object using the prepare method. So I need to define a statement, declare a variable here, statement equals to the connection. Remember, we already established the connection from the previous videos over here. So we have this connection over here with the PDO class. So let's say that connection has a method, and the method is prepare. So we're preparing this query over here to be inserted into the database. Okay, I think you can say both, database. Okay, so I'm preparing this SQL here with the method. This doesn't mean that I'm finished. I'm only preparing this information over here. Remember, this one is linked to the one above. So I'm preparing this information, and I'm preparing it to execute it later. So the SQL as the argument is here, and now I'm going to go ahead and execute the statement. So I say statement, which is this method with the connection, execute, and here it's really important. Here I need to add this array here as the argument. Array for parameter markers is argument. So actually, when I link, or when I use this array as the argument for the execution, I'm saying that this thing over here, this information over here is going to be linked to the values that I defined over here. So, okay, so that's not all, because I need to see if I was successful. Actually, if I do it like this, nothing will pop up here. Wait, this is information from a previous video. Okay, so if I refresh here, nothing's going to be displayed here, but I'm going to see that the record was inserted here. So right now we have 4 records or 4 rows. Let me just organize this better after I refresh it. Let me just see what happens over here. Here's the data. Ivan, Charles, Laura, and Pedro, only four records. And if I refresh it now, you're going to see the no record inserted. So this is actually going to work when I refresh it. We only need 4 lines of code. So let's do that. So let's refresh this. Oh, actually, I need to refresh this one over here in the browser. So I refresh here. Nothing will pop up here because we didn't say that nothing was going to happen after I inserted the records. But when I refresh here, you're going to see a new record inserted, which is Diana over here, and she is 32 years old. Now, if I want to display the result over here, let me just change the, let's just add another person. Let's just say, I don't know, Camilo. He's 55. So I want to make sure that this thing was inserted, or I want to do, I want to do something with the result of it. Later on, if you build an API, you'll see that you'll need like a confirmation that the data was inserted in order to do something. But you'll see that on later videos. Okay, so to do that, we do statement. We're going to say row count, and that means that I want to see how many rows were inserted or how many rows were affected in the database. And I want to store that in a variable. Let's just say rows affected equals to statement row count. And I want to echo that. I want to echo how many rows were affected. So when I refresh this, you're going to see Camilo here. Right now, Camilo is not here because I haven't refreshed my browser. But when I do, you're going to see here 1. Let's just concatenate some more information here just to say how many rows were inserted. There you go. So when I refresh here, you're going to see 1 row. 1 row was, well, actually, let's just change that to the was. 1 row was inserted. Let's see that. Oh, I forgot to say row. So that's why 1 was inserted. But when I actually come here to my database and I refresh, you're going to see the name Camilo, who is 55. All right, so that's step number 5, how you display the result with the row count method. And now to finish, you can use a custom function to display all of the data, and you can see that new row inserted into all of the data that you're going to fetch. So to do that, you're going to declare a function. I said that my function is display users. This was from the previous video. The connection, if I don't declare this connection as global, there's going to be an error here. So for example, you see here, it says that this connection variable wasn't defined. So that's why I need to say global connection, which it's getting the information from here. This is actually from the previous video, so if you want to know how I did this, please watch that video number 2. So what do I want to do? Display users, remember, to show all the users here with a statement, and fetch all methods, which we already explored. Okay, so once I'm done here, I'm going to say, what's the name of the custom function? Display users. So I'm going to say display users. That's all I have to do. So let's just work with another name, different name. Let's say name Juan or John, and John is 29. So when I refresh over here, you're going to see the name John in the last element. Okay, so let's see that. Let's refresh. Let's refresh, and you have the name John, who is 29. All right. So I already showed you all the steps necessary to insert a record into the database and to display it. I didn't actually show you how to do this, but it's on the previous video, how to use the custom function display users. All right. So I'll see you in the next video.